Ballintubber, like a lot of places, has a diaspora that's far bigger than the actual population that are living in the village itself. And I'm joined here now by one of Ballintubber's most dedicated and loyal supporters, all the way from Chicago in the United States of America. Kevin Brady, how are you keeping?
Good, how are you doing, Oisín?
Not too bad now, Kevin. Worrying scenes we're seeing in Chicago there, where you are well, in America more specifically over the past couple of days. How's things in Chicago at the moment?
It's okay. I haven't taken much notice really. I don't really turn on the TV too much. There's so much on it right these days. You don't know what to believe. But I believe there's a bit of rioting on downtown or starting. But I'm a good bit from there on the south side, so I don't see much of it. But the rest of the cities are boiling over. It's all over the news now. So.
Yeah, and of course, the other big event that has affected us all over the past couple of months, I suppose, the coronavirus. How have you personally been affected out there in Chicago? Have you been working away all the time?
Yeah, I've been working away. It didn't really bother me. I'm in the construction into it, so I'm kind of a small outfit, so we can go do a lot of outside stuff. So we don't get interfered with the inside. There is places closed down. All the supermarkets, you have to, line up in masks and all that stuff. And hardware stores the same way. But everybody's going around with a mask here. It's kind of a fashion trend now, where a lot of people they don't take it off them at all. They're driving on their own in the cars. It's kind of funny looking to see it. And I think they're wearing them why they don't need to wear them, but that's their own business. But anyway, it doesn't really bother me really,
Mm. And how many years are you in Chicago now, Kevin?
Here since March of '90. I actually came in '96 for a month with Ballintubber and Tommy Katie. Did a big outing that time. I think there's about 150 between families, wives and kids and husbands and boyfriends and girlfriends and whatever. But a lot of them didn't go back that time. They stayed around, especially in the north side. I was in the north side that month. Really enjoyed it, and I think I probably wouldn't be in Chicago only for that trip. Because I went to England. I went back then again after that trip, and I was working in McKevely's in Killawalla for 9 years. Actually, I was working there when I left for that trip, and I really enjoyed them 9 years. McKevely's with all the banter. But I came back out then in 1990. Actually, went to England for a year and a half before that, and didn't really like it. Played a bit of soccer there. Didn't really get into the football into it. But applied for the green card, and I got it, and away I come out here. I knew I was coming out. I really liked America at the time, that trip. So made a lot of friends out here. So I was supposed to go to the McBride in the north side, which I wanted to do. But then I was living on the south side of the cousin, and she kind of found us an apartment at the time, and we stayed there. So I started playing with a club in the north side called the Rovers, which they folded the following year. And then I joined a club called the Parnells in the south side. More or less by accident. I didn't really go looking. I was just in the bar one night, and I just was at a game the week before and seen the style of football, and I just got talking to a lad, and he's actually from Ballintubber, and we just joined up with them, and that was it after that. So,
and what's the GAA community like out there in Chicago?
It's pretty good. It was a lot bigger when I came here, probably 30 years ago, up till maybe it deteriorated. Then I'd say my age group, or 5 years later, was the last group that came out that immigrated and stayed around. And so there was a lot of footballers coming, and the clubs really didn't really need the out of town players as such. They'd bring the county players in when they get knocked out at the time, and which was good because you needed some high caliber players to bring the crowd out to to Gaelic Park and Chicago and through the crowds. But all that, my age group kind of then died off. They got married and families, and the immigration stopped. So it's mostly J1ers now, and you get the odd one that's coming and staying. But the standard was very good. It's really, really high at the time. I remember one time there was, I think, 6 county players on the sideline that wasn't even playing. They were subs. Wow. So high of standard back in the 90s. But it's going good now again, So good students coming out, like top county footballers. They come out in the J1s, and if they're J1 eligible, if they don't even have a J1, they're allowed to come out. So if you get a special sanction.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ballintubber people and Termacady people, as you were saying, out that way. So in some sense, I suppose it was like you'd never left home.
No, it's just like at home. It's easy to get on with here. They have a lot of Ballintubber. I'm still some friends with them, like the great Jerry Garrity, and he's living in the north side. You've Richard Finnerty is just over the road from me here. We go to his house, watch some games. Like for example, last year Michael Welch was out, and we met in Richard's house, and Carl McNally was down, another Ballintubber man, and Peter Welch from down Killagear, and it's like home from home, really, you know. And then you have the Donnellys on the north side, and Michael Malone. That's what he's known here as the Wedge.
How did he get that nickname?
I don't know. He must have said sometime, some man, he was a wedge of my man, and it's easy to get a nickname here. If you say something, you just got to watch your words because you got a nickname right away. So,
Yeah.
But nobody calls him his name anymore. It's just a wedge. But actually, his brother passed away there a couple of months ago, and he couldn't even go home for the funeral. So it's tough in that way, you know. You can't travel now. So I've known a lot of people that somebody died long to them, they can't travel, and it's terrible. Like this virus. But yeah, there's all kinds of Tommy Cady and Ballintubber. You could name them all, you know. I was even talking to Pat Gibbons today. He was a big man with McBride's there. So a lot of the lads there. Dermot and Plunkett didn't know him there, and a few of the lads have been out 2 years ago. So yeah, it's enjoyable. So
Yeah,
weather is good as well. So
I can imagine there, particularly during the summer. Yeah, it's actually lovely here at the moment. Believe it or not, as hard as not as that is to conceive. But yeah, it's fair to say, even though you left Ballintubber never left you. You've kept the flag flying out there all the time.
Yeah, it's like it's your first club, and even I can remember going back at underage. You know, back then I don't know if it's still going. They had the local schools. Killawally's would play in Ballintubber, and you have Carnacon, and be a day out or whatever. You have a little blitz or whatever. But we'd be over, you know, that time. And there was one man, I think a lot of the younger crowd would know him, Tom Carty. He was very good to the Killawalla lads anyway. Like we used to cycle to Clare to train, you know. But there was no pitch at the centre that time, and we'd cycle over, and then Tom Carty put us in his car, and he'd pile us all in any way he could, the boots and everywhere. There was bikes and there was people in the boots and packed us in. It was unbelievable. Before that, you'd be in the shop, and Kathleen Jennings, Tom's wife, would be giving you sweets, and they looked after. They were very, you know, the memories always stick in my mind, like Tom, you know. So then, you know, I never played senior, but he played a bit of junior with the club, and Christy Feeney, I think, is another man I'd have time for. He was great. He managed us back then, and he was very good with the players. You know, how to get around them and talk to them, get them to do stuff, and you know. But yeah, it's, you know, it's always in the blood, you know.
Yeah, and how good were the club back then? You said like we lost a lot of players there in the 90s.
Yeah, well, especially when Jerry Garrity, and then you have John Welch, a lot of mention, and then you have Michael Kelly, which would be a cousin of mine. And I suppose they call Tornado, if you know Tornado. They all left that time, and that was one of their prime, and they went to McBride's. I believe, like, if they didn't go, we'd probably have won maybe county senior earlier, because they were the prime, you know, especially Garrity and Welch. They were the two top players at the time. And Garrity's name is still mentioned here. I think there was a big function here from another club. There was 50th anniversary of the Wolf Tones, and Jack O'Shea played with them. And I think I asked him one time who was the best midfielder he ever played against, and he says it was Jerry Garrity, without a doubt.
Wow.
Nobody touched him. So, and Garrity had played against Jacko in Chicago here, you know. So that'll tell you how good he was, you know. So.
Yeah, and Jerry Garrity would have is regarded in the county as definitely one that got away, that would have been a star with pretty much any county team, and so he really must have dominated the scene out there in Chicago when he was there.
Oh, he did, yeah, and very well respected from all the clubs. There was nobody who could handle him. He had that solo dummy, and nobody ever got onto it. He could sell it to you 100 times. Nobody'd ever catch it. It's just the knack he had. The funny about it, Declan, his younger lad, I coached the minor, and we won a North American with the minors. His lad was amateur. Garrity used to say to me, to Declan, his young lad, he said, "Show Brady the gimp," which was he called the solo dummy the gimp, you know. Which the young lad had it off to a T as well. But yeah, but I believe that if Garrity didn't leave Ballintubber, it would have won May 189, there's no doubt about it. We'd have matched Teddy McCarthy at midfield, no problem. That time, John O'Mahony came into my cousin's wedding, came in, Michael Kelly's wedding at the time, and he came in to see one man, that was Geraghty. I think he must have been talking to him for 2 hours, trying to get him back, but Geraghty had set up here on his own. He was half tempted to go on, but anyway, I think he still limited and he didn't go, but that hindsight is another thing. So yeah, but yeah, some good players. It's nice to see players coming through playing county, you know. I don't know where the next ones are coming. You're always thinking who's going to be the next after Killeen and Dermot and Plunkett and, you know, Dylan gone. So Dylan, I nearly had Dylan the year you won the first title in 2010 after Longford beat us, and I called Dillo and he was coming, but I think Orden went to the house and said, we're going to win Ballintubber. I said, that's fine. I'm not stopping you. So just give me the opportunity. So,
yeah. I'd say the hurt from that defeat and definitely drove them that year.
Yeah, you know, it's just the way things go. I suppose football is kick of a ball. It's any game, any given time. If you could have an off day and you get caught, that's it. You know.
Yeah, and what has it been like then, like watching the club from afar? Obviously, with technology nowadays, it's maybe a bit easier, but back in the days, I'm sure it must have been a struggle trying to catch up on results and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's mostly the radio back then, but now you have an internet. But I think I was at two of the county finals. I was at the first one, definitely. I think it was the second one. When we beat Castlebar by, I think it was 5 points to 3, I think it is. It was a boring game to watch because both teams wanted to win. It was awful boring because there's only cat and mouse backing over. And, but anyway, the result was the end of the day that you need. You know, nobody cares wants to win. But with the internet now, I have Midwest Radio on nearly all the time. Still living at home, you know, just home from home really. So you get all the results and you get. You know, I do have it sometimes before they have it in Ireland. So. You know, they'll be saying, "How do you know that so fast?"
Yeah, I can imagine.
Technology,
Yeah, and would you be home much for Mayo games and Ballintubber games? Would you try and get home once a year?
I say I haven't missed an All Ireland, let's say in about, I don't know, 20 years, maybe more. I was at every All Ireland, no matter who's in it.
Really?
I'm booked again now for the 30th of August. I was supposed to go in April, but the virus has put that a stop to us. So that date is booked now if it comes off or not, but this virus, God knows where it's going to stop. So.
Yeah, with the help of God, when you come, there'll be a bit of football on anyway. So yeah, just before we wrap it up, Kevin, is there anyone you want to say hello to?
To all my family in Kiltarshawn, the village there, all in Killawalla, everybody in the Ballintubber Club. I'm not going to name any names because if you hear all night, but McKevley's, the pub where I worked for 9 years, put me on the road. Very good friends with all the family yet. That's about it. From anybody here from Ballintubber, Finnerty's, the Donnellys and the Geraghty's and McNally's and all them, just say hello to their families on my behalf. So that's about it. So we'll see you probably in August. I believe the championship is going to start up. Is that true or not? There's going to be a knockout in the county.
Well, there's been nothing decided yet. I mean, it's kind of up in the air at the moment whether the All Ireland will go ahead, but yeah, with the help of God, there'll be something on. Like football is penciled to start on July 20th. So yeah, with the help of God, there'll be something there to entertain you when you arrive. Yeah.
Okay, Oisín, good to talk to you. Try to see you in person when I get home there.
Lovely stuff. Thanks very much, Kevin. Before you go, a reminder to play our club lotto this evening. It'll be on in about an hour. Do try and support that if you can. It's the lifeblood of the club at the moment. Kevin is a great supporter of the lotto, always has been throughout the years, and we really need support now more than ever.
No problem.